स्टडी विद सुधीर आपके डिजिटल क्लासरूम में आपका स्वागत है. As part of the SWS Naatu-Naatu series, today we are going to bring you civics. Yes, civics. And while we will be doing a lot of MCQs करेंगे जैसे हमने इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज के लिए किया था, prepositions and transformation of sentences, उसी तरह से हिस्ट्री, सिविक्स, ज्योग्राफी, बाकी सब्जेक्ट्स भी करेंगे. और साथ साथ खासियत ये होगी, सी द होल आइडिया इज दैट अभी आपको पूरे लेसन्स का रिवीजन की अभी अंडरस्टैंडिंग की जरूरत नहीं है, आपको मालूम है, लेकिन आपको टेस्ट करने की जरूरत है. दैट्स प्रिसाइसली व्हाट द SWS Naatu-Naatu सीरीज इज गोइंग टू डू. लेकिन बड़ा अंतर यह है कि along with testing you आपको समझाया भी जाएगा. I will also keep explaining concepts which you may find a little tricky or confusing and may end up making mistakes, है ना? So shall we get started? So today's video is going to be on civics. All the 5 chapters: Parliament, President, Prime Minister, Supreme Court, High Court, and the district courts, right? Subordinate courts. Okay. तो उन सब के बारे में MCQs होंगे civics के. So let's get started and see how much you are able to score. तो साथ साथ आंसर करते रहिए in the comment box. We want to see involvement out here. Okay, let's get started. So, as part of the SWS Naatu-Naatu series, Civics with Sudhir, the bill for the formation of the new states in India can be introduced only with the recommendation of the किसके recommendation पे नए states के. For instance, 2013 में तेलंगाना के फॉर्मेशन के लिए बिल को इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया था पार्लियामेंट में, है ना? सो बिकॉज देन यूनाइटेड आंध्र प्रदेश वाज डिवाइडेड इनटू तेलंगाना एंड द रेसिड्यूरी स्टेट ऑफ आंध्र प्रदेश, राइट? सो किसके रिकमेंडेशन पे दिस बिल वाज इंट्रोड्यूस एंड जनरली फॉर द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ न्यू स्टेट्स, छत्तीसगढ़ हो, उत्तराखंड हो, इन द ईयर 2001 झारखंड हो, उन सबके बिल्स किसके रिकमेंडेशन पे यूज किया गया था. I'll keep giving you examples and that is what the big difference is. यहां पर हिस्ट्री सिविक्स on SWS is not theoretical knowledge एक बुक से निकाल के. This is practical information because I have first hand experience of covering politics for over 30 years. So the 4 options are speaker, president, law ministry is important, or the Rajya Sabha. Now, the moment you see Rajya Sabha, you can get confused. This question can get confused because you say new states. Rajya Sabha is the council of states, है ना? So, क्या Rajya Sabha के हो सकता है? और यहीं पर deeper understanding of civics is so important. Rajya Sabha, of course, is the council of states, but the recommendation, the person who recommends that the bill for the formation of a particular new state can be introduced in parliament can be done only with the permission of the recommendation of the president of India. So that is the correct answer, the president. Okay, this is one of the legislative powers of the president of India. मैंने इस तरह से नोट भी बना के रखे हैं ताकि आपको और समझ में आ जाए. तो legislative powers में भी आप इसका मेंशन कर सकते हैं that this is one of the legislative powers of the president of India. Next question. Which of the following bills can the president not return for reconsideration? I hope you can see till the end out here. Yeah, you can see. Is it an ordinary bill? Is it a money bill? Or is it bills passed by both houses of parliament? कौन सा ऐसा बिल है जो कि प्रेसिडेंट रिकंसिडरेशन के लिए वापस पार्लियामेंट को नहीं भेज सकते? ऑलवेज, बिकॉज यहां पर जो नॉट है ना, हमेशा याद रखिए, नॉट, जब नॉट देखो दिमाग की घंटी टंग करके बजनी चाहिए, बिकॉज दैट कैन बी ए कंफ्यूजिंग सिग्नल. आपको कंफ्यूज करने के लिए डाला गया है. ओके, एंड वी विल डू अ लॉट ऑफ दीज काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस इन सब्सिक्वेंट वीडियोस, स्पेशली हिस्ट्री में, जहां पर जानबूझकर कंफ्यूज करने की कोशिश की जाएगी. एंड why have I put those kind of questions? Or these questions are all prepared by me. Okay, a few from some pre-board papers, जहां पर भी मुझे लगा कि ये जरूरी है बताना, ताकि आप सतर्क रहें, सावधान रहें. Okay, so of these 3 options, the correct option is the money bill, which the president cannot return for reconsideration. Please बात का ध्यान रखिएगा. Okay, The next one. The president can proclaim emergency only when the decision of the dash is communicated to him or her, in this present case of President Draupadi Murmu, in writing. Written होना चाहिए decision, तभी president emergency, national emergency का declaration कर सकते हैं. Is it the council of ministers? Is it the cabinet? Or is it the home minister? The correct option is B, cabinet. और ये 1978 में इंट्रोड्यूस किया गया था. ओके, दैट इज बिकॉज इन 1975 जब इमरजेंसी डिक्लेयर हुई थी, तब कैबिनेट का रिकमेंडेशन वाज नॉट सेंट टू प्रेसिडेंट फखरुद्दीन अली अहमद एंड ही एक्चुअली साइंड द प्रोक्लेमेशन ऑफ इमरजेंसी, व्हिच वाज अ वेरी कंट्रोवर्शियल डिसीजन. नाउ अगेन, जो क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 का था, उसका मैं एक और पार्ट लेके आया हूं ताकि आपको और अच्छी तरह से समझ में आ जाए. What can the president not do with a money bill? मनी बिल के साथ प्रेसिडेंट क्या नहीं कर सकते हैं? अगेन नॉट है, ध्यान रखिए. He cannot accept it, he cannot reject it, he cannot return it for reconsideration. Okay, इसमें से कौन सा नहीं कर सकते हैं? प्लीज ऑलवेज रिमेंबर, बिकॉज सी द ट्रिकी पार्ट इज यहां पर नॉट है और यहां पर रिजेक्शन इज ऑल्सो ए नेगेटिव काइंड ऑफ एन इमोशन, नेगेटिव, राइट? Return also has a sense of the negative, so it's a double negative. So you have to be very careful when you are choosing the right option. Please be very wary of जहां पर भी आपको not या negative दिखे, दिमाग की घंटी क्या होनी चाहिए? लिखो कमेंट बॉक्स में, बजनी चाहिए, right? So the correct option is C. He cannot return it for reconsideration. और मैं इसको थोड़ा समझा देता हूं. I'll explain it to you so that you understand this. Okay, I've written an entire note out here. Okay. You can even take a screenshot and keep it. Money bill can be introduced only with the recommendation, जैसे मैंने अभी बताया, of the President of India. Number 2, these are all aspects of the money bill which can individually come in your MCQs. It can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha. ध्यान रहे. Speaker is the one who decides whether the bill is a money bill or not a money bill, any bill. Otherwise, it will be an ordinary bill, but he will decide, he or she will decide whether a particular bill should be a money bill or not a money bill. Article 110, please write this down also. It is the one which deals with money bills. And last point is, they cannot be amended or rejected by the Rajya Sabha, and no provision for joint sitting in case of a deadlock. Okay, so these are all the different aspects of a money bill. But jahan tak president ka sawal hai, he or she can accept it, he can reject it, he can say कि नहीं हो सकता है, which is highly unlikely because उनके recommendation पे ही move किया गया है. So reject करने का सवाल पैदा नहीं होता है normally. But he or she can return it for reconsideration. Okay, sorry, he cannot do that. He or she can accept it, he can reject it, but he cannot return it for reconsideration. C नहीं हो सकता है. That was a not do with the money bill. Okay, so I hope, see, I myself got a little confused. So it's always very important to read very carefully. I hope this money bill के ये सारे aspects आप समझ लीजिए, because each one of them individually can come as a MCQ. Which bill can be not be introduced in the Rajya Sabha? It can come like that, right? You understand? Or can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha, right? A bill, right? उस टाइम पे आप no confidence motion लिख के आएंगे तो अंडा मिलेगा. Okay? So please remember this. Article 110 भी याद रखिए, कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. 110 याद करना इजी है. स्पीकर का रोल एज फार एज अ मनी बिल इज कंसर्न, एंड व्हाट कैन बी डन बाय द राज्य सभा, एंड व्हाट इट इन द केस ऑफ मनी बिल व्हाट कैन नॉट हैपन, राइट? सो ये सारे एस्पेक्ट्स को आप ध्यान में रखिए. प्लीज रिमेंबर दिस. ओके, लेट्स मूव टू द फिफ्थ क्वेश्चन. Which of the following articles has never been used in India? और यहां पर I would suggest that you please make a table of all important articles whichever are mentioned in your book. Okay, you could do that, so article 352, 356, 360, 123, 110 जितने भी हैं, just write it and put it there. टेबल में होगा, चिपका दो दीवार पे. जितनी बार देखेंगे it will be easy for you. Because why I'm telling this, normally these kind of questions were never asked in the history and civics, in the civics examination, because it was subjective format. But now with the MCQ format, you cannot rule out these kind of questions being asked in the board examination. So is it 1, 2, 3 356, 360. Now, if you do not know what is 123, what is 1356, what is 360, ठन गोपाल क्या करेंगे? कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे. 1 2 3 relates to ordinances by the president, right? So क्या ऑर्डिनेंस कभी भी प्रेसिडेंट के द्वारा इशू नहीं किए गए? ऑब्वियसली इशू किए गए हैं. कोविड के टाइम पे ही कितने सारे ऑर्डिनेंसेस प्रेसिडेंट हैड इशूड बिकॉज द पार्लियामेंट वाज नॉट इन सेशन, राइट? सो 1 2 3 इज नॉट द राइट आंसर. 356 deals with president's rule in a particular state, right? In a particular state अगर प्रेसिडेंट रूल को इंपोज करना हो तो उसमें आर्टिकल 356 का इस्तेमाल किया जाता है. काफी सारे स्टेट्स में 356 का इस्तेमाल किया गया है. सो दैट आल्सो डज नॉट fit into the question. 360 deals with financial emergency in the country. Financial emergency has never been imposed in India. This is a provision of the constitution which has never been made use of, right? 352 deals with national emergency which was used in the year 1975 by Indira Gandhi. So 360 is the right answer because it deals with financial emergency. So I'm again repeating, you need to know which is what. Okay? Who prepares the speech for President Draupadi Murmu? Rashtrapati Bhavan, her secretariat, her press advisor, cabinet, or the Lok Sabha? The correct answer is B, cabinet. Which of the following is not true? ध्यान से पढ़ो. Not देखो तो yes. The Prime Minister has a free hand in the distribution of portfolios. Is it correct or not correct? सोचो. Prime Minister is bound by the advice of his ministers. Prime Minister advises the ministers in matters of administration. Okay, so which of these is not true? Okay, the Prime Minister has a free hand in the distribution of portfolios. He obviously has. He decides who will be Railways Minister, who will be Telecommunications Minister. हालांकि अभी Ashnavi Vaishnav is both Railways and Telecommunications Minister. Okay, who will be Textiles Minister, who will be Defense Minister? He decides. So he is correct. It is true. Okay. Prime Minister advises the ministers in matters of administration. He does. He kind of, the junior ministers, etc. He advises them because, why? Because he is the leader of the Council of Ministers, right? The Council of Ministers is led by the Prime Minister. C is also true, but he is not bound by the minister. If the sports minister tells the Prime Minister, no, I think this is true, the Prime Minister can listen to him, but he's not bound by the advice, which means that it is not compulsory for the Prime Minister to listen and agree with the advice given by a particular minister. Cabinet Minister ho ya Minister of State ho, right? So B is not true. I hope maza aa raha hai, samajh mein aa raha hai. Which word was added to the Constitution of India by the 44th Amendment Act in December 1978, right? सो ये कौन सा वर्ड था जिसको कि 44th अमेंडमेंट में इंक्लूड किया के तहत इंक्लूड किया गया? अमेंडमेंट्स तो 3 हैं, 44th, 91st. याद रख लिए, नोट में लिख लीजिए, जस्ट लाइक आपने आर्टिकल्स पे लिखे उसी पेज पे लिख लीजिए, याद रहेगा, यूजफुल रहेगा. ओके, मेनली फ्रॉम द पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ऑफ एमसीक्यूज. आई एम टेलिंग यू ओनली फ्रॉम द पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू ऑफ एमसीक्यूज. कैबिनेट, कोलिशन या reservations? The correct answer is cabinet. Constitutionally, who has the power to make a law on a subject mentioned in the union list? Parliament, Lok Sabha, or Rajya Sabha? Now, see, again, this is an attempt to confuse you. The correct answer is Parliament, because the union list, Parliament, so concurrent list, Parliament as well as state assemblies hoga. To whom is the Council of Ministers collectively responsible to? The correct answer is Lok Sabha. आप Parliament नहीं लिख के आ सकते. Okay? Collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha, individually responsible to the President of India. Nominated members of Rajya Sabha. Okay? ये ध्यान रखिए. उसके बाद ऑप्शंस हैं तो उसमें देखेंगे कौन सा सही है, कौन सा गलत है. Nominated members of the Rajya Sabha can vote in the election of President of India, cannot vote in the election of President of India, cannot vote in the election of the Vice President of India. Now here you need to know, unless you know ये तुक्का मार के नहीं आ सकते. तुक्का ठीक हो सकता है, बट नेगेटिव मार्किंग नहीं है, तो अगर नहीं आता तो तुक्का मार लो, बट तुक्के मारने में भी थोड़ा सोचो, मे बी यू गेट द तुक्का राइट. So the correct answer is, see the nominated, जो कितने nominated members हैं? Please write in the comment box, how many nominated members? Yes, 12. So 12 nominated members by the President of India. They can not vote in the election of the President of India. It's a very weird kind of a thing, but that's the way it is. But they can vote in the impeachment proceedings of the President of India, strangely enough. So they cannot vote in the election to the President of India. Okay, so B is correct. But they can vote in the election to the Vice President of India. Because also Vice President is the chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. So all the nominated members also get to vote in the election to the Vice President of India. So here the correct option is B. They cannot vote in the election to the President of India. Who settles disputes arising out of the election of the President of India? ये बाद में 2 मार्क वाले क्वेश्चन है ना, उसमें भी इस तरह के आ सकते हैं. जो जितनी भी मैं जानकारी दे रहा हूं, इंफॉर्मेशन दे रहा हूं, you will find this useful out there. Who settles disputes arising out of the election of the President of India? Election Commission, Supreme Court, Parliament. Please do not write Election Commission just because you see the word election out here. Please do not make these kind of careless mistakes. The correct answer is Supreme Court. Okay. The term of office of Vice President, who is also the chairperson of Rajya Sabha, is 2 years, 5 years, 6 years. Deliberately an attempt to confuse you, because जानबूझ के Vice President के साथ हो सकता था आपको क्वेश्चन में ही the term of office of the chairperson of the Rajya Sabha is पूछा जा सकता था, और आप सोचेंगे राज्य सभा, अरे मुझे मालूम है 6 साल है, पक्का करेक्ट आंसर 6 साल. गलत, अंडा, 0. You will not get a mark. The correct answer is 5 years. So the Vice President, who is also the chairperson of the Rajya Sabha, stays on for 5 years. Jagdeep Dhankar, who was recently elected in 2022, he will stay on till 2027 as the Vice President of India. I mean, unless anything goes wrong. 2 years may every Rajya Sabha member retires, right? So, otherwise the term of a Rajya Sabha member is 6 years. So, please remember this and do not get confused between them, okay? The member of who sits in the Rajya Sabha who is not a member of the Rajya Sabha. It's the chairperson who is not a member of the Rajya Sabha. The power of the Supreme Court to review laws passed by the union or state legislatures is called judicial review, revisory jurisdiction, advisory jurisdiction. Now here again, I see students review they get confused between judicial review and revisory jurisdiction, and they think judiciary hoga jurisdiction, that may be this thing, but the correct answer is a judicial review. While the Chief Justice of India is appointed by the President, the Chief Justice of the High Courts, इनको कौन appoint करता है? Appointed by the Governor of the State, President of India, or the Vice President, right? Again, an attempt to, yes, confuse you. So, the correct answer to this is the President. All the judges are appointed by the President. They may be sworn in by the Governor or anybody authorized by the Governor in the case of the High Courts in India, right? But they're appointed by the President of India. Always remember this. अभी पूरा dispute चल रहा है about the appointment of judges, right? Who can increase the number of judges of the Supreme Court, right? Options पढ़ो. Who can increase the number of judges of the Supreme Court? Is it the Chief Justice of India? Is it Parliament? Or is it the President? Now you may think judges तो appoint करता है President. So can it be the President? No. इस case में it is the Parliament which decides. Okay, so knowing is very important. Civics that way gets a little complicated because you need to know the powers and the duties and the functions and the rights very clearly. Or kai jagah pe it can be a little overlapping, so there needs to be clarity. Civics that way is much more of a fascinating subject like land history, because history is basically facts and nothing else. Civics is where you need to apply your mind and think a little. And if there is a tricky question, you need to be very, very careful. Okay. 17th question. Which qualification is incorrect to be a judge of the Supreme Court? He or she must be a citizen of India. Correct. She must have been an advocate of High Court for 10 years or a judge of High Court for 5 years. Right. Ye bhi theek hai. He must be a distinguished jurist in the opinion of the Prime Minister. This is not correct. The Lok Sabha is called the House of the People because pretty simple. It has greater numerical strength. Its members are elected directly by the people, or only it can pass no confidence motion. The correct option is B. its members are elected directly by the people. That's why House of the People. Okay, Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha, Rajyo ki Sabha. It's pretty much taken from the Hindi word. Which is the highest criminal court in a district? Pada hoga to easy hai, Sessions Court. Okay. Some students have been asking whether we can do selective study. I would see it's like this. Out of the 3 questions which come, going by the specimen paper and even previous year papers, 1 question comes from Parliament, which is the bigger chapter, Parliament. 1 question comes from the executive, that is the President and the Prime Minister chapters. And 1 question is from the Judiciary, Supreme Court, High Court, and subordinate courts. So you can decide depending on what you're comfortable with, whether you want to prepare only 2 out of the 3 and उन दोनों को ही आप करें. लेकिन उसमें बीच में कुछ tricky हो गया, then आप risk ले रहे हैं. The choice is yours. Whether you are doing it so thoroughly, 250% that कोई भी question आए, you'll be able to tackle it, then you can go ahead with it, right? But you need to prepare the 3rd chapter, the 3rd set of chapters for the MCQs, okay, which is a lot of fact-based questions, और उसमें भी thoroughly पढ़ना पड़ेगा. I'm not saying each and every this thing, but understanding has to be there in order to be able to crack the MCQs. So I'm putting this caveat, so you need to take the decision accordingly. This is pretty easy. Criminal Code, Sessions Code, okay. Habeas corpus means A, to have the body. It is not we order or by what order. ये पूरा list है जो भी आपको याद रखना पड़ेगा, okay. A person shall be eligible to contest for the election to the Vice President of India if he has completed 25 saal, 30 years or 35 years. The correct option is C, 35 years. I'm assuming all this you know, okay. Identify the correct statement. Vice President, read this carefully. I'm allowing you to read the statement and then you write. In your answers, please write 22A, B or C. Don't just keep writing A, B and C in the comments box. Vice President draws his salary as the Vice President. Vice President draws his salary as the Chairman or Chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. Vice President chairs Lok Sabha when Speaker is ill or out of the country. Now, C, I can tell you it does not happen, and this can come as a different MCQ question as to who chairs the Lok Sabha when the Speaker is ill or out of the country. It is the Deputy Speaker, okay, not the Vice President. So the correct option, the correct statement out here is B, that he draws his salary as the chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. Okay. The 91st Amendment, पहले मैंने 44th Amendment की बात की थी. The 91st Amendment introduced reservations in India. It introduced the anti-defection law, put a ceiling on size of the Council of Ministers. The correct option is C. Okay, 15%, and this can come as a question also. 15% of the total strength. Okay, that's what it kind of, a Council of Ministers cannot exceed that 15%. Anti-defection law was in 1985 by the Rajiv Gandhi government. I think it was the 52nd Amendment, right? So please remember this. वो आपके इसमें नहीं है. Who presides over the highest civil court in a district? Sessions Court, District Judge, or the Chief Justice of that High Court? The correct option is District Judge. Again, these are the typical MCQ questions which come, Lok Adalat and District Court and Sessions Court. The President can be removed. Last question, can be removed on grounds of violation of the Constitution, incapacity, or proved misbehavior. The Constitution very clearly says it is on grounds of violation of the Constitution. So please remember this. These are the words used in the Constitution. The option is A. With this, we come to the end of our SWS Naatu-Naatu series episode on civics. We'll try to have one more, definitely one more, if not more. And I hope you found this useful. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Okay, if you really want to know more, get more such episodes, and also to get the notification, ताकि ये ना हो कि civics का आपको notification chemistry के exam के बाद मिले, फिर क्या फायदा उसका, right? Thank you very much for watching.